Welcome. Welcome to my channel Most Worth Coins WC Today. Videos is one you won't to miss. We're diving into the world of coins, top 3 quarter dollar. So let's get it started. Design on the reverse side of the quarter dollar, reflecting each state's history, traditions, symbols, or significant landmarks. Arkansas, the 25th state admitted to the Union on June 15, 1836, had its commemorative quarter released on October 20, 2003, becoming the final quarter design released that year. The Arkansas quarter serves as a miniature canvas that encapsulates the natural beauty, economic foundations, and cultural identity of the natural state. The reverse of the Arkansas quarter was designed by John Mercanti, one of the most prolific coin engravers in the history of the U.S. Mint. His design integrates 3 main visual elements: a mallard duck flying above a lake, a stalk of rice, and a diamond, all placed in front of a background of pine trees and tranquil water. Each of these symbols was carefully chosen to represent an essential aspect of Arkansas's environment and economic heritage. The mallard, a species commonly found in the state, highlights Arkansas's rich wildlife and reputation as a haven for duck hunting and bird watching, particularly in the Delta and Bayou regions. Waterfowl hunting, especially in regions like Stuttgart, Arkansas, has long been a significant part of the state's outdoor recreation industry and is also of economic importance due to tourism and sportsmen's activities. The rice stalk is another crucial symbol, representing Arkansas's position as the leading rice-producing state in the U.S. The state's eastern agricultural lowlands, part of the Mississippi alluvial plain, offer the ideal environment for growing rice, and farming remains a central part of the state's economy. Including the rice stalk on the quarter not only pays tribute to the agricultural roots of Arkansas, but also acknowledges the hard-working communities that have cultivated the land for generations. This agricultural symbol reinforces the state's contributions to feeding the nation and maintaining a strong agricultural economy. Perhaps the most eye-catching symbol on the Arkansas quarter is the large diamond depicted prominently in the foreground. This element alludes to the presence of Crater of Diamonds State Park, located in Pike County. Arkansas is the only state in the U.S. where the public can search for diamonds in their original volcanic source and keep what they find. Since the park's establishment, thousands of diamonds have been unearthed by visitors, including some of notable size and value. The inclusion of the diamond emphasizes not only the rarity and uniqueness of Arkansas's geological resources, but also the spirit of discovery and exploration that defines the state's identity. Encircling these symbols is the standard legend found on all state quarters. Arkansas 1836 at the top, denoting the year the state joined the Union. 2003 at the bottom, marking the coin's year of issue. And the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a reminder of the unity among the diverse states that make up the nation. The obverse of the coin, like all quarters in the 50-state quarters program, features the familiar profile of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932, and slightly modified for this series to accommodate the larger, more detailed reverse designs. In terms of mintage, the Arkansas quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with mint marks P and D respectively. According to U.S. Mint records, the Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 229,800 coins, while the Denver Mint struck around 228,000. These high mintage numbers indicate the widespread availability of the coin in circulation, although collectors may still seek high-grade uncirculated examples or those with error varieties for numismatic value. The coin was also offered in proof versions, both in standard copper, nickel, and silver compositions, struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. From a numismatic perspective, while the Arkansas quarter is not considered particularly rare, its design holds appeal due to its rich symbolism and aesthetic composition. Collectors often appreciate it for its balance of natural and economic imagery, and it has become a staple in 50-state quarters albums. Error coins, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dies, can command higher premiums. though these must be authenticated by reputable third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. Beyond its tangible attributes, the Arkansas quarter also functions as a cultural artifact, reflecting a moment in time when the U.S. Mint invited citizens to engage with coinage in a new and meaningful way. The state quarter program allowed Americans to learn about their fellow states, sparked interest in coin collecting among a new generation, and demonstrated how design and symbolism could be used to educate and inspire. In Arkansas's case, the choice of symbols serves not only to honor its natural splendor, from its rich pine forests and abundant wildlife to its underground treasures, but also to pay tribute to the labor, legacy, and pride of its people. In the 2003 Arkansas State Quarter is much more than a 25-cent piece. It is a narrative device that encapsulates Arkansas's ecological treasures, agricultural strength, and historical uniqueness. Through its elegant combination of a mallard in flight, a stalk of rice, and a brilliant diamond, the coin captures the heart of the natural state. For collectors, history buffs, and everyday citizens alike, this coin remains a shining example of how something as small as a quarter can tell a story as vast and rich as the land it represents. The 2000 Virginia State Quarter is part of the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters program, a groundbreaking initiative launched in 1999 to commemorate each of the 50 U.S. states with unique quarter-dollar reverse designs released in the order of their statehood. Virginia, the 10th state to ratify the Constitution on June 25, 1788, was honored with its state quarter on October 16, 2000, making it the final release for that year. Designed by Edgar Z. Stever IV and engraved by John Mercanti, the Virginia quarter showcases a powerful historical theme with the depiction of the three ships, Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, that carried English colonists to Jamestown in 1607, the first permanent English settlement in North America. This scene commemorates the quadricentennial, 400-year anniversary of Jamestown, which would be officially marked in 2007. The reverse of the coin bears the Virginia 1788, Jamestown 1607-2007, quadricentennial, and E pluribus unum, encapsulating both Virginia's entry into the Union and its foundational role in American history. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar image of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932 and slightly modified for the state quarters. This coin, like others in the series, is composed of a copper nickel-clad composition, 8.33% nickel and the rest copper, weighs 5.67 grams, and has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters. The ships portrayed were part of the Virginia Company's expedition, a joint stock venture organized to profit from the resources of the New World. These ships landed at what became Jamestown, initiating a settlement that would profoundly shape colonial and national American identity. The Virginia quarter's design intentionally highlights this pivotal moment, underscoring the theme of exploration, perseverance, and early governance. Jamestown was not only a forerunner of future English colonies, but also the birthplace of representative government in the New World with the formation of the House of Burgesses in 1619. This legacy of self-governance directly influenced American democratic ideals, making Virginia's historical narrative essential to the broader story of the United States. Minted at the Philadelphia P and Denver D mints, over 1.59 billion Virginia quarters were produced for general circulation, specifically 943,000 from Philadelphia and 651,616 from Denver, making it one of the most widely struck coins in the series. Additionally, special collector versions were made at the San Francisco S Mint as proof coins in both clad and 90% silver formats, targeted to numismatists and state quarter enthusiasts. These proof coins were included in annual mint sets and remain popular collectibles, While the coin is common in circulated condition, uncirculated and proof versions, especially in high grades like MS68 or PR70 Deep Cameo, can carry premiums. Errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dies have been occasionally reported and are valued based on rarity and visual appeal. Among collectors, high-grade examples from rolls or mint sets are sought after, particularly by those assembling complete 50-state quarters collections. The Virginia quarter also represents the broader success of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008 and became one of the most successful numismatic outreach programs in U.S. mint history. It introduced millions of Americans to coin collecting, drove record demand for modern circulating coinage, and revived public interest in U.S. history and geography. Each coin served not only as currency, but as a compact educational tool, an artifact linking Americans to their collective past. Virginia's coin, with its refined maritime design and deep historical resonance, remains a standout in the series. It honors not only the settlers who braved the Atlantic to forge a new life, but also the complex legacy of colonization, native displacement, and the evolving identity of the American South. As such, the 2000 Virginia State Quarter is more than a piece of currency. It is a miniature monument to a foundational moment in U.S. history, one that laid the groundwork for the birth of the nation itself. The South Dakota State Quarter, released on November 6, 2006, is the 40th coin in the U.S. Mint's acclaimed 50 State Quarters program, a decade-long initiative, 1999-2008, that celebrated each state's unique history, culture, and heritage through custom coinage. South Dakota entered the Union as the 40th state on November 2, 1889, and its quarter design effectively bridges the state's natural beauty, wildlife, and monumental man-made achievements. The reverse of the coin was designed by John Mercanti, one of the U.S. Mint's most prolific engravers, and it captures a dramatic and symbolic image, the majestic Mount Rushmore National Memorial, featuring the sculpted faces of Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, set beneath a soaring Chinese ring-necked pheasant, South Dakota's official state bird. The scene is flanked by stalks of wheat, referencing the state's strong agricultural roots. This imagery is rich with symbolism, as it pays homage to South Dakota's role in preserving both America's democratic legacy and its environmental and agricultural wealth. The inclusion of Mount Rushmore is particularly significant, as the memorial is not only one of the most iconic sculptures in the U.S., but also a profound emblem of presidential leadership, national unity, and artistic ambition. Carved between 1927 and 1941 under the vision of sculptor Gutzon Borglum, Mount Rushmore attracts over 2 million visitors annually and is inextricably linked to South Dakota's identity. The obverse of the South Dakota quarter remains consistent with all state quarters, featuring a modernized version of John Flanagan's 1932 portrait of George Washington, used since the series began. The inscriptions include United States of America, $quarter, Liberty, and In God We Trust. The coin has a standard-clad composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a reeded edge, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a weight of 5.67 grams. It was struck at the Philadelphia P and Denver D mints for general circulation, with 245,000 coins produced in Philadelphia and 265,800 in Denver. Proof and silver-proof versions were also minted at the San Francisco S Mint, including high-quality collector versions in both copper-nickel clad and 90% silver compositions. These were included in annual proof sets and continue to be popular. Among collectors, especially in high grades such as PR69 DCAM or PR70 DCAM, with the silver versions being especially desirable due to their metal content and mirror-like finish. While most circulated South Dakota quarters are readily available and worth face value, uncirculated specimens and those with striking errors, such as doubled dies, die cracks, or misalignments, can command premiums depending on their rarity and condition. The Chinese ring-necked pheasant, introduced to South Dakota in the early 20th century and designated as the state bird in 1943, is a favorite among hunters and birdwatchers alike. Its flight above Mount Rushmore on the quarter is symbolic of the state's diverse landscape, from the Badlands and Black Hills to the sprawling farmlands of the eastern plains. The stalks of wheat on either side of the design underscore the importance of agriculture to South Dakota's economy and heritage, especially the cultivation of wheat, corn, soybeans, and sunflowers. Collectively, these elements make the South Dakota quarter a rich narrative piece, encapsulating not just physical landmarks and symbols, but the story of a people closely tied to the land, their traditions, and their contributions to the American tapestry. South Dakota is also historically significant for its Native American heritage, including the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota Sioux tribes, whose presence predated American statehood. While not directly represented on the coin, their cultural impact is an inseparable part of the state's identity. The South Dakota Quarter is a prime example of how the 50 State Quarters program helped transform everyday currency into storytelling tools, sparking national interest in coin collecting and American heritage. The program ultimately released over 34 billion quarters into circulation and introduced many young Americans to history and geography through pocket change. In South Dakota's case, the quarter reminds us of the enduring legacy of American leadership, as seen in Mount Rushmore, the beauty of the state's natural world, as represented by the pheasant, and the continuing importance of agriculture to national well-being. With its high relief detail, symbolic complexity, and clean aesthetic, the South Dakota State Quarter remains a standout in the series and a favorite among collectors and historians alike. Whether found in pocket change or tucked inside a velvet-lined coin album, it captures in miniature the spirit, pride, and diverse identity of the Mount Rushmore state. Would you like this adapted into a YouTube script or turned into a narrated voiceover-style format?